Well, good afternoon. Today I'm starting a website creation series. And so for this first video, we'll be sure to go over search engine optimization, SEO, HTML, hypertext, markup language, kind of combining SEO and the theory of planned behavior so we can try to really understand the theoretical underpinning of why we would do certain things. So to start off, SEO, the purpose is to increase your impressions or visibility through, let's say, the digital space. So let's say, for example, you have a great solution, but no one is finding it online. You would use SEO to help people find you. So the goal of SEO is to make it easy for people to find you because of these impressions. And so what does SEO look like? SEO looks like good SEO. You would have 100% on 3 different types of audits. So when you audit your web page and overall website, you'll be doing 3 different types. The first one being a technical audit, and that's how your code is written. The second one is on page, how your code is read. In other words, it could also be the type of content. So you could think of technical audit is different than on-page audit because it's the structure of your code. And on-page is how people are reading it, how people are using it, and ultimately the on-page is where you answer a lot of questions from the user's perspective. Now, just as the name suggests, off-page, this is more of like who or what is linking to your website. So when you have social media, you'll notice that you can input your website, your portfolio, whichever it may be. But what you may not realize is that there are 2 different types of URL links. One is a follow and one is a no follow. And so just because you link to your personal website from a very popular one, such as, let's say, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, those are going to be no follow URL links. And that's not going to help your off-page score. It's not going to help what's called domain authority or page authority. So later on in the series, we'll go into how to improve it. But it is important to know the 3 different type of audits you can do for SEO and to really set up your page with a good foundation from the start. Because just like building anything, doing it right the first time saves you a lot of time and, most importantly, effort. Because you can build it, realize all the faults you've done, and you'll kind of think to yourself, if only I knew better, I could have just made this one simple thing to fix a pretty big issue. And later on in the series, I'll go into that. So you may be thinking, what is HTML, hypertext markup language? It's just sort of how you structure. So when we go back to the technical audit, how your code is written, HTML is going to look at in H1, P, H2, H3, and I believe it can even go all the way to like H7 or 8. However, I believe H1, 2, and 3 is more than enough. So let's get into it. So H1 is going to be, if I were to refer to APA, H1 is like the cover title of your assignment, your paper. It's the thing that classifies, describes the whole entire thing that you're writing. And so if I were to show a more, I guess, realistic version of it, pull up a web document, Word document. Okay, so we have our H1 right in the middle. And now let's say we want to write a web page about dogs. So we're going to write 12 lessons about training a newborn puppy. So we know exactly what this webpage is going to be about. And as a preview for the later lessons, in the H1, that's where you put your main keywords that you would want to be about, like maybe, let's say, training a newborn puppy. You would want to start ranking for training a newborn puppy, and then you can add subsequent ones that'll help boost this one with 12 lessons to help infer that your webpage is about learning new skills. And so when they put it into the algorithm, it'll come up something like so for example, if someone wanted to search for this, they would see the search engine would see this and this, and then it would use this to help classify this keyword 12 lessons to make it more specific towards this. But that later in the series. So we have our H1, and so we're just going to break it down a little bit further. And so let's say P and then this, the P you see right here, this is what this would be. It would be going into introducing your title, your H1, just like an academic paper would. And so if you have a good understanding of, let's say, APA, you're going to understand HTML very fast. Okay, so you did that, and so we want to put a title, let's say lessons 1 to 6. So this would be the H2. And so this would be P. And so now we would get into the H3. So this would be the names like and you don't have to italicize or anything like that. It's just to help structure your content so the algorithm, the search engine, can easily understand it. And the way it's going to look is going to look like this when that website is like read through and scanned through the bots. And so this is what it would look like to a crawler that would be doing this audit. And you can see that it makes sense. It's very hierarchy. And then this is what the on page would look like. And then the off page would be someone referring to this document. And in a nutshell, that's kind of it. All right, so going on. For a technical audit, I would recommend using SEO Optimizer. SEO Optimizer is just pretty simple. So you just input your website and then it'll give you an audit for on-page, links, usability, performance, and social. And then it'll just break it down even further on the individual metrics that feed into your score. And of course, this is free. So that's why I recommend for your SEO, technical audit, SEO Optimizer. Now for your on-page audit, Moz. I like Moz because it's also free. So you're just going to click around here, create your website, and you could just auto log in through Google. Now going over these SEO tools, you can see that a lot of this is pretty worthwhile and free. This one I like very much because, as I said before, those keywords, you're able to do a keyword ranking to see what you're ranking for. Now, for our off-page audit, I recommend Ahrefs. Now, Ahrefs is also free. There is a paid version with a lot more intense tools. However, for the most part, I feel like this is pretty much like all you need. So this right here in this area, it links up to your Google Search Console, and it just gives you a very good broad overview of everything you need. And if you were to pay, you'd get deeper access into it, and you'd even be able to look up certain keywords to find the competition for it. And so that's why I recommend Ahrefs. Now, getting into the theory for the third part of this video, the theory of planned behavior. It's about understanding and trying to explain someone's intention while they take that intention and transform it into action. And so this is the framework. You can see that these three variables right here, these are playing off each other and influencing each other as a type of kind of like a type of regression. And so they're going to produce some type of coefficient to get to this threshold of intention. And if the intention is strong enough, and you can also think of this as like summation for those people who understand biology, these three are acting together to get a reaction to produce a behavior. And that's ultimately how this theory works. So getting into it, the subjective norms, these are the ones that are kind of cultural, not in the sense of the big broad term, but just in your social circle. So you may have a lot of friends that play chess, and when they play chess, they eat apples. Now, if you were to go to a completely different city in a different state, they may eat watermelon or bananas. And that's kind of like what I'm trying to get out. The subjective norm is what a person would think is normal in a given situation. So if you were to move into another city, he may bring an apple while everyone is eating something else. And then he may be thinking, oh, okay, that's interesting. Wonder why they're doing that. Which goes into the perceived behavioral control, or in other models, they're talking about barriers. And in these barriers is more so like how are they going through the motions, the workflow, the process to reach that idea and to feel empowered. So when we talk about this going forward, the perceived barriers, we're thinking about like UX or the UI, the interface, the experience. How easy is it for someone to get from point A to point B? And that's where that type of variable lives in. Looking at the attitudes, it's sort of like what is the utility or the motivation behind doing this? So does the individual feel that they need to fit in, which would cost them a good amount of attitude that's positive towards the intention of a certain behavior? And so when we put it all together, we're looking at this intention. And so it's going to go something like this if we were to just put it all together. Actually, let me change shapes. Let's go with this one. So it's going to start off with the subjective norm. What is like normal in a given situation? And then is going to play into, well, this is normal. I wonder if it's easy to really make this change. So say, for example, I am feeling like I'm seeing everyone go to the gym. What does it take to go to the gym? Well, I need to find out how to go to the gym. And so now I'm going to use this energy to figure out the barriers of going to the gym. Why? Because everyone goes to the gym. And because of that, I am feeling a little bit motivated to go to the gym. And in a nutshell, that is how an intention is formed. Now, when all three are strong enough, it'll turn and evolve into a behavior. And as far as I know, there is no actual numeric value to it as far as I'm concerned. However, you want to make sure that you're really targeting these three variables to produce an intention. And if the intention is strong enough, you'll have a behavior. Now you may be thinking, how does this play out in something other than web creation? Well, we can look at this and say tobacco cessation. We can say for tobacco cessation, my family doesn't like it when I smoke, and we'll go to the attitude. I need to change because I'm using a lot of money for this behavior, but I'm not sure how to overcome the barriers to change. And so we can see a positive outflow here. and then we can also see a positive outflow here. But interestingly, when it gets here, it can oftentimes be very very negative, because the individual views a lot of barriers, such as addiction to nicotine, how they're going to go through stress at home, and a lot of other negative behaviors. And so this is where we have to spend a lot of time to reduce those perceived barriers and empower the ability to control a behavior, ability to change a behavior by reducing what they think is difficult into something easy and manageable. And then when all three come back positive, we can see behavior change. And all of this can be done through your communication on a web-based platform, a mobile application. It's just really, if you understand the process, then you can try and work through it. So again, thank you for your time. This has been the first video, and there are more to come. So thank you, and see you next time.